Hello, students. Today we are going to discuss the next story of the chapter Lost Spring. That is, I Want to Drive a Car. This story is also similar to the story which we have discussed in our last session. The people living in Firozabad are working in Bengal factory for ages, but they are still not able to earn their bread and butter. They are still living the life of poverty. The author in this story sheds the light on another victim of child labor, Mukesh, who dreams of becoming a motor mechanic. The people working in Bengal factory are exposed to many health hazards, such as losing their eyesight. And why? This is because the environment where they are living is not a healthy environment. There is no room for air. There is no room for light. So the environment there is very dark and dingy. Bangle makers of Firozabad are so burdened that they have stopped dreaming, unlike Mukesh, who wants to drive a car. Now let's talk about the story in detail. In this story, the author said that Mukesh insists on becoming his own master. He wants to become a motor mechanic. And when Mukesh was telling this, author could see the confidence in him. Author could see the hope in the eyes of Mukesh. But it feels to author that the aim and ambition or the dream of Mukesh is just like a mirage in the dusty streets of Firozabad. And why is that so? It's so because the people of Firozabad, they are working in a Bengal factory. It is the center of India's glass blowing factory. Families have spent generations working around the furnaces, and Mukesh's family is one of them. Authors said that there are about 20,000 children working in the factory. People working in the Bengal factory have actually no idea that it is illegal for children to work in the environment of high temperature, to work in the environment of dingy and smelly cells, to work in the environment where there is no room for air and light. And after slogging for hours, the kids lose their eyesight. Now, the author also shared his experience about his visit to the house of Mukesh. She said that Mukesh acted as a true volunteer to take her to his house. While taking the author to his house, he was looking at each nook and corner to make a safe passage for the author. And while going towards Mukesh's house, author observed that the streets are choked by garbage from all around. He could observe the crumbling walls. He could observe the wobbly doors. There was no windows. And the family of human and animals were coexisting like in the primitive stage. The moment Mukesh reached to his house, he opened the door with a foot. And the first thing the author observed when she entered the house was that there is a pile of dry grass on one side. She could see the firewood stove, and on the firewood stove, she could see that the sizzling spinach was being cooked. She could also see the aluminum platter on which chopped vegetables were there. And she saw a frail young woman cooking the evening food. Who she was? She was the wife of Mukesh's elder brother. Though her eyes were filled with smoke, but she was still smiling. Though she was young, but still she was in charge of the house. She was taking care of the three men, her husband, Mukesh, and their father. Author also described the practice of veil. The moment the father entered the house, the daughter-in-law put veil on her face. Then the author described about the elderly man as well, the head man of the house, the father. He said that despite working for years as a tailor first and then as a bangle maker, he couldn't save anything. He couldn't renovate his house. He couldn't send his two sons to the school. Working for so many years, he was only managed to teach them the art of bangle making. And after working for so many years, he lost his eyesight. And justifying it, the grandmother gave a statement that it is his karma, his destiny. According to her, if the father has to work for so many years, According to her, if the father has lost his eyesight, it is his karma, his fortune. It cannot be changed. She gave another statement that God given lineage can never be broken. She gave this statement to explain that our birth is not in our control. We cannot choose that where we want to take birth. It's by chance. That means it has been planned by the God. She emphasized that if we have taken birth in the family of bangle makers, then we have to follow their profession. Then we have to follow whatever they are doing and we cannot change it. Author described that when you go to Firozabad, you will see bangles everywhere. You will see bangles in the yard. You will see bangles on the cart. The bangles can be of different colors. The bangles can be green, can be blue, can be yellow, can be red. Fine. You will find people taking the cart with a heap of bangles of different colors to sell it off. On the other hand, you will also find the boys and girls sitting with their fathers and mothers working on the bangles in the bangle factory with different colors. But the condition in which they are working is not soothing. But the condition in which they are working is not healthy. They are working in front of flickering lamps. Their eyes are adjusted to dark rather than light outside. And that's the only reason why they often lose their eyesight before reaching adulthood. So, students, let's stop the story here and move to our next session, that is, question answers. There will be some questions in front of you for which you have to write the answers in your English notebook. Question number 1 is mention the hazards for working in glass bangle industry. Question number 2, where is Mukesh's house located and what is he proud of? Question number 3, what are most of the bangle makers ignorant of? And what would happen if laws were enforced strictly? Question number 4, do you notice contrast between the colors of bangles and the atmosphere of place where these bangles are made? Last question is explain the given statement. It is his karma, his destiny. So, this is the end of this session. We will meet again in our next session. Till then, thank you.